At the September 2nd rehearsal, Andrew and Lincoln were talking with me about table choices. And the ones that I presented in that rehearsal were basically street performing tables. For TV, I mean, they sort of felt that it reminded them a little bit of a TV dinner tray stand, which is fair. Part of me really was pushing for building my own custom table and shipping it ahead. But as Lincoln, I believe, correctly points out, it's not a trick about a table. I'm a little nervous about that. Pretty much everything else is under my control in terms of the props, and then that's a big question mark.
All right, this is how you're supposed to vlog, right? You're supposed to be doing another activity while you're talking about something that's already happened. I had my second and I believe final video rehearsal with the producers and magic consultant Mike Close. No major adjustments that need to happen. A couple of small pacing notes that again I agree with and we'll be implementing. At our first rehearsal a month ago, there was talk of using some production budget to rent a table that was more period appropriate, something that looked a little more antique-y, that is not only becoming problematic on the props and art direction end, but also some hesitation about if there will be any budget left for that sort of, it's set dressing. It's not required, and I totally get that. So we are proceeding with Matt and Peter Wood building a table from scratch for the purposes of Fool Us. It will be able to come apart and fit into one of my checked bags and then be assembled on site, but also look the part. So the style we're going for is a campaign style piece of furniture, which is wood with brass accents, already designed for basically a military campaign where the officers would still want some of the finer things, but they would need them to be rugged enough to be hauled around. So in an interesting kind of way, that's basically what we're trying to do here. We want an antique table that can be transported. I had floated this idea a month ago, and it didn't get a hearty thumbs up, so I didn't push the point. But now we're 2 weeks out, and Matt and I are gonna build the table. All right, it's time for a Fool Us table update. Take a look at this bit of awesomeness. Matt and Dad were kind enough to crank this out for me because I had a busy day and they wanted to play in the workshop some, so I definitely appreciate that. It is made of Spanish cedar. Ooh, very nice. We've got the drawer here, which eventually will have a handle so you can, pull it out. And then the legs are made from mahogany, and both of the wood choices are a smart move for something that needs to fly. These are fairly lightweight yet still sturdy wood samples. And then Matt and I have this, this is when I say Matt and I, pretty much all Matt. We talked about the idea of a means to have the legs be shorter. So basically, if you see right here, there's a gap. This is two pieces of wood that have been joined together with this piece of brass tubing. And first we did a little bit of sourcing to see if we could find some brass tubing like this, but everything we were finding was square and crazy expensive. So Matt's clever idea was a kick plate from a door, which is actually aluminum with a little coating of brass on the outside of it. And so that's what this is. Basically, it's a cut chunk of that This is obviously the upstage side. It's not quite as pretty. But if you notice, it's just 2 pieces of wood here, and right now, literally no fasteners. It's just sort of hanging out, and that is super solid. I'll probably drop a couple of screws in there just for the fun of it, but it's not really necessary. So basically, when I'm on site, as long as I remember to pack a screwdriver, the legs will be able to come apart into 2 halves. And that was the biggest design challenge when we were trying to put this all together, is getting it down to a good suitcase size. The legs are going to be about 38 to 39 inches long to get it to the height where I'd like it to be. But then having something that is 38 inches long inside a piece of luggage, and that also is able to hold other things, was getting to be problematic. So the legs will come apart for flying. And right now the whole top part of the table is running about 12 pounds. So we have to add in the weight of the legs, and then we'll have to see if we're able to get it into either an existing suitcase or a Pelican case, or may even go for something custom. Mostly just trying to keep it under the Southwest limit of 50 pounds and 62 inches, all 3 dimensions added together. So I believe, I'm feeling confident that we'll be able to do that. And again, definitely appreciate the brother and the father support making that happen. So this is the FU case. So it is 1:30 in the afternoon on October 14th. And in 24 hours, Matt and I are going to be getting in the car and driving to the airport. So it is crunch time. A couple of small updates. Right here are the last 2 boards to go onto the X stand, which is almost done here. Not a required part, but as I was sort of testing it, I realized that some boards at the top would help me to move the table around a little bit. Also, I ordered over a week ago some inset handles for the drawers, and they were supposed to be delivered yesterday. They did not show up yesterday. So I've got my fingers crossed for the mail today. But if that doesn't happen, I have my backup hinges here, which aren't going to be quite as sexy as completely inset, but it's going to be better than nothing, because at this point it is go time. I've also got a bunch of stuff staged over here, basically things that need to go inside this Pelican case. And yeah, at this point it's going to be just putting things in bags and then sticking the bags on the scale and making sure that I don't have any overages on any of the stuff. The main anxiety that I have is going into the bubble and not being able to acquire things that I might need in case of emergency when I'm there. I'll be much more relaxed once I get on site and all my luggage is there. But typically when I'm traveling anywhere, the feeling is, all right, do I have my phone? Great. Do I have my money? Great. Anything else I'll be able to buy along the way. But in this particular case, I've got some one-of-a-kind items that I'm going to be sticking in a suitcase under the airplane and then crossing my fingers. Thankfully, it's a direct flight, so hopefully less likely to have a baggage hiccup. And there's also a day of lag there in case there was any problem. But again, I'll be very happy once I'm there with all my stuff and I can sort of focus on the task at hand. So that is the update 24 hours before departure. Guess where I am? Right? Check out that view. So, fabulous Las Vegas. It is 7:26 local time, which means it's about 10:30 in my head. And it has been a crazy whirlwind day. Left home at 1:30. Brother Matt drove me to BWI Airport. Everything went swimmingly. Good security, fine flight, couple of bumps, few minutes delayed, but nothing terrible. Most excitedly, very pleased that all my bags got here. You'll notice here's my table, all inspected, looking good and ready to be assembled into its parts. Got the rest of the bits up here on the couch. So yeah, I'm very happy to have that checked off the list. Looking forward to sort of sorting some of the stuff out here, and I will sleep better tonight once I have every prop and piece accounted for and ready to go here in the room, sort of to stage it. And that way I'll be ready to do whatever needs to happen tomorrow. Yeah.